What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Context. Today, we are going to react to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to be saving my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there's a delay because when I ask you a question, it's about about 5 seconds before you respond. I'm gonna handle you body count guys in a minute, but you're telling on yourselves, so you really should stop. Okay, you're 32, um, and that means if you're dating men who are older than you, let's say you're dating men 10 years older than you, 7 years older. A lot of guys have 50% of the guys are gonna have kids. Um,
Right.
and you don't, and you're saying how to deal with that.
So basically, how to decide who is a good candidate to have children with if they already have children.
You want to know how to decide who's a good candidate to have children with if they already have children.
Right. Because if they already have children, I'm kind of committed to
Okay, listen,
whatever
listen, listen,
environment they're
listen,
already
listen,
in.
listen, listen. Look at their children.
Okay.
That's the surest indicator. If they already have children and you want to know whether or not they're a good candidate of which to have children by, right? Look at the work. Look at the kids. If he has quote unquote good kids, especially if he has custody of them, then that means he's doing a good job. Does that not make sense?
It does.
So the question is, I thought your question was more or less along the lines of you're not wanting to date guys with kids.
I don't mind. I would like to date someone who doesn't have children.
Well,
I'm being
unfortunately,
realistic. And
unfortunately, are you actively or seriously dating anyone right now?
no.
Do you want to get married?
Yes.
Do you want to have children?
Yes.
All right. Well, unfortunately, you waited so long.
What?
You should have been married 10 years ago. Have you ever been in a serious relationship or been proposed to? Uh-oh.
Serious relationship.
He said, you cleared your throat on that one. Well, what happened? How long? What happened?
I don't mind.
Nobody can see you.
Wasn't ambitious enough for me.
Huh?
Wasn't ambitious enough for
He wasn't ambitious enough
me.
for you. Okay. And how long were you guys together?
About 8 years.
Did you say 8 years?
I was very young.
Girl, you wasn't you 32. What was you, 5? I, come, come on, sis. Come on, sis. You say you were with a dude for 8 years, and the reason you didn't marry him is because he wasn't ambitious enough. Then you're gonna follow it up and say you was young. Boo, come on.
After that, I became ambitious, focused on my goals,
Okay.
and stopped dating.
Okay. All right. So,
That's
so,
how we led to here.
well. When you say ambitious, what does that mean?
um, just wanting more out of life, focusing on a better lifestyle,
Does that mean more money?
comfortability.
Com- Comfortable. Does that mean more money?
Yes.
All right. Does it say you just wanted more money? Stop prettying it up. So, did you go to college?
I didn't finish.
All right. So, so what do you do for a living? If he wasn't ambitious enough for you,
Um, I prefer not to disclose that. I work.
Well, now you call and ask me the question. So here's the thing. Okay, I'll just go down
You
that path.
asked me for
Here's the
me.
thing. Here's the thing. Here's where I go down. See, I find it interesting that
Hmm.
women like that. Unfortunately, there's so many sisters like you that are getting in this position. You're with somebody for 8 years, that all of a sudden he wasn't good enough because a light came, and it almost seems like the way you guys tell the story. All of a sudden, some light came on, and then he wasn't ambitious enough. All right, but see, what I need to hear after that is you're like the VP of marketing. That's what I need to hear. That I was with somebody for 8 years and we were both just middle income people, both high school graduates. No one went to college. We put both right there in the middle. That all of a sudden, I graduated or something. And I just went from here to there and he wasn't ambitious enough. But what I tend to find is most women are still kind of right where they were. They're just looking for a man with more money later in life.
I can say that
You start
that
break.
is not my situation. I actually am further than I was.
Well, here's the thing.
I can
Okay.
say that that is not my situation. I am actually further than I was.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Whatever your situation is, I don't know what the big deal is, but here's the net of it. 32 years old. There's a looks component. Um, there's especially if you want to be a. Do you want to work after you have children?
I don't mind working part time. I would like work for my husband's company.
Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills?
No,
Right. So you don't want to have to work. How many children do you want? Would you like to
right.
have? Huh? How many
Two
children?
to three.
2 to 3. 2 to 3 children. So again, we're talking about these men in the $300,000 plus range. That's those men, $300,000 plus range to have a wife that doesn't work and have 3 children. That's a mad. What percentage of men do you think make $300,000, well, $325,000 or more? Out of 100% of men, what percentage of men do you think fits that?
10%.
Say again. I couldn't hear you.
10%, 20%.
10% or 20%? 10 to 20% of men make $300,000 or more. Um, oh damn. No, no, ma'am. That those men are in the top 1% of men. 99 out of 100 men don't make that amount of money.
Okay.
This is kind of part of the issue that a lot of women want something that's unrealistic for them. Most men don't make that. So if there were 100 black men, one would make that amount of money. And why would that one pick a woman who's and the guys who make that amount of money, if they're already making it, they're going to pick the youngest, hottest woman they can get. They don't pick women in their 30s. And if they did pick a woman in her 30s, he's going to be in his late 40s or 50s. And she's still got to be smoking hot. The man who makes that kind
Um,
of money is likely not.
well,
Hmm? Go ahead.
I'm not a mud duck, and I'm not looking for an extreme amount of income. I'm just looking
Whoa.
to have a
What do you mean when you say you're not looking for an extreme?
relationship
You say you're not
with
looking for an
a
extreme amount of
nice
income. You
man.
said you're not looking for an extreme amount of income. You said you want to get married and you
I
love.
said I was looking for a comfortable relationship.
Okay.
You put the number of 300,000. I didn't. I just
Well,
said comfortable.
okay, I put the number there because that's how much it cost. I didn't just pull it out of my butt. I run the numbers. I pull the numbers,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and what I'm trying to tell you, man, is if you think 10 to 20% of men earn $300,000, no offense, but my grasp of the number is probably more in tune with the reality. And if you say you want a comfortable life, cool. How much money to not be able to work and have 3 kids when it takes about $200,000 per child from 0 to 18? You can't do it on $80,000 a year and not have a wife that's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, you'd be living in a rental home. So when you say you're not looking for an extreme, no, you didn't put you haven't put pen to paper and know what it is you're really saying. That's cool, but you are asking for an extreme amount of money. I just filled in the other parts. You're 32. I made that video and got a bunch of pushback. When women who are 4s, 5s, and 6s find high earning men, they find them when they're in their college years or at the beginning. So when a guy's already up there, he's looking at 8s, 9s, and 10s. What would you actually, if you had to rank yourself, since you said you're not a mud duck, okay, and you're not, what would you rank yourself?
I'm not really sure. I haven't really done that assessment yet. If I had to rank myself, I would say overall,
You can't use 7.
because you don't like 7,
Yeah.
right?
What would you give it?
Oh, did you hear me? I said I would give myself an 8 because you don't like 7.
You give yourself an 8. Okay. So that means as an 8,
I'd rather go higher than lower.
okay. So that means you're 5'4", dress size 4, 120 pounds, tight fit. First off, just understand, over 30, even if you were a 10, when you cross 30, you automatically drop 1 point. That means you're a 9.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and are you a tall woman or are you a shorter woman?
5'5".
5'5". And dress size?
A 6.
Dress size 6. And are you in the gym like 5 days a week?
Yes, 6.
Okay, cool. Then that would mean likely your body is around an 8. I can't see. But I used the show Good Times, Thelma Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
as a 7. And I don't use 7s. Pam Grier, that's an 8. So to be an 8, you got to be like in Pam Grier's area.
That's extreme. I don't have the boots.
Huh? So you give.
I said that's extreme. I don't have the boots.
Well, are you watching me or you watching YouTube? Are you watching me or you watching
I'm
YouTube?
looking on Zoom.
Well, I mean, you don't have the you don't have to have the boobs. I mean,
She
see,
has very big boobs.
but she was also classically beautiful. I mean, and it's not uncommon for men to. Here's what it gets right down to. At 32, if you think most guys make that amount of money, you're off base. And it requires a lot of money to have a stay-at-home wife because a man has to. The average middle-class American makes $50,000 a year. Okay, so let's just say you and your husband were average. You're making 50, he's making 50, right? In order for you to stay at home, you'd either have to live below your means by half, or your husband would have to increase to $100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the math for two people. Daycare for an infant, $200 a week. I mean, kids are expensive, and to have one, two, three, and not have to work, that man is going to have to make high, mid six figures or more. And that's in Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Atlanta. Those kind of guys exist, but they are 1 out of 100. And that's not adjusting for looks, height, anything, even marital status. They're exceedingly rare. So if you want to have a comfortable life, you're going to either have to work, have fewer kids, or really, really lower your standard of living, if that's what it is. And that's what I don't think a lot of women kind of take into consideration. And why are we here? Because you said you had an 8-year relationship, and it's over because the guy wasn't ambitious enough. So that means he wasn't making enough money. All right. That means.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
So what if I'm willing to work with an individual and actually I like to play the long-term game.
Uh-huh.
So it's more so about putting the work to lead to that lifestyle. It doesn't have to be today.
You're kind of breaking up. So slow. What I need you. Hold on. I need you to repeat that. You were breaking up, and because on your headphones. Say it again. You're willing to work with somebody. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said I was willing to work with someone. I'm not looking to go into a $300,000 a year. I would like to, but I'm not. I'm being realistic and not looking to walk into a $300,000 a year relationship with a man, given my age and other things, and mostly my age. But if I'm more interested in the long term game, if we lead to that or we get to that, we live a comfortable life, we actually grow and build, we can get to that lifestyle.
Well, that means you're gonna have to work. 32 years old. First off, 30. Let me just say.
Honest with you, I guess because of the ambition.
I'm just being honest with you, man. Most 32-year-old women aren't gonna not work. You're gonna work. Mm-hmm. You can say whatever you want. Most 32-year-old women are going to have to work. You did not get married early when you were young, fertile, and at your highest. You're past the wall. That's just the reality. You can say whatever you want. You can have your standards. You can think what you want to about you, but you're average. You're average looking, and that's not an insult. You're average looking. You're not bad, but you're not Pam Grier, and you're over 30. Huh? The more likely reality is you. I don't know how much money you make, but you didn't go to college. I don't know how much money you make, but the more likely reality is, I said a woman can pretty much expect to get a man $10,000 times her for every point on the look scale. If you're a 6, you can expect a man making about $60,000 a year in Dallas, Houston, Austin. That means you'll be working. Most women have to work.
The thing is, I don't mind working as long as it's not physical work.
But it's still, okay. I asked, okay, that's cool. But it's still going to be 40 hours a week. Ain't going to be no part-time nothing.
It has to be 40.
Because you're going to need 2 incomes. You're going to have, okay, ma'am, you're going to have to, at your age, why would a man who is making that much money marry a 32-year-old woman who's got 3 years before you start having high risk pregnancy. You still got to meet him, go down the aisle. I mean, if you met him today, as soon as you be married is 6 months from now. And unless you got pregnant on the wedding night, you want at least a little time, 3 to 6 months before a baby came out. You'd be 33 and a half. And if you had a child every year, the first one, the second one, the third one will be high risk. See, what you're showing, ma'am, is a lot of women like you have this idealistic attitude, but you don't put hardcore numbers or reality to it. One, your age is a hindrance for that. Two, and let guys who make that kind of money, I mean, let's just say 6 figures. I mean, realistically, do you want your husband to be making $100,000 or more? From day one.
More.
Right. And,
Realistically.
all right, ma'am. And that's 10% of the men.
Right.
Have you ever dated a man making that kind of money?
However.
Have you ever dated a man making that kind of money?
Yes.
Okay. Let me back it up. Have you ever seriously had a serious relationship with a man making that kind of money?
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay. So date, that just mean y'all went out?
Dated for several months.
Okay. And why did it end?
To be honest with you, I think I'm too picky. I used to have the perfect dynamic ideal.
Why are you so picky?
Oh,
What I mean, seriously, what's so special
because
about
I'm
you to
not
be
lazy.
what's so special about you to make you so picky? Are you that fine? Are you that I mean, to be that picky? I mean,
I'm not lazy.
so what? Neither is a mule. So what, ma'am? You work. Do you have an advanced degree? I mean, you didn't go to college. You go to the gym.
Is that all that matters? Is the degree?
What matters, ma'am? If you're average. You're average, ma'am. You're
Which
average.
is fine.
And that means average people get average people. And just like Rebecca Lynn Pope, the black woman who's married to a pastor who was a matchmaker for black women, said she stopped working with women like you because you were so unrealistic. You can be picky, ma'am. See, that's the thing. I can't tell you not to be picky. I can just tell you.
I said I used to be picky. I am
Oh,
not
well,
currently picky.
you're
I
still,
used to
okay,
be
you're
picky.
still picky. Wanting a man making $100,000 a year at 32 years old, that's
Mm-hmm.
still picky. You didn't even know that two or 300,000, I mean, $300,000 a year was a 1% man. You thought that's 10 or 20%. That shows that you have no
So
idea.
what price range should I be focusing on?
Ma'am, what I'm trying to say to you in the nicest way possible is you didn't want to tell me how much you make or what you do. All I know is you're 32 and you graduated from high school. All I know is you said you were with a guy for 8 years and you're not together because he wasn't ambitious enough. But you did not tell me that you are some high-end corporate exec somewhere at 32. So I don't know what ambitious means.
Corporate exec? No.
Okay. Do successful if successful men, high earning men don't approach you for serious relationship, that should tell you something.
Okay.
That should tell you something. If the men that have the means you would like do not approach you for serious relationship, what does that tell you?
I'm gonna say I'm trying not to get roasted on. here.
I know
So
I'm
I'm
not.
not
I'm not
taking it
going to
as a
roast you.
coaching.
I'm actually trying to help
I'm
you.
saying that I was the problem.
No.
No,
Oh,
I
what
appreciate
what
y'all. I really do. I'm just saying that I was the problem.
what I think the problem is with so many black women like yourself is you're too picky for what you are. That is as simple as I can put it.
Correct.
You can't be that picky when you're like a 5. You have to be an 8, 9 to be picky.
Thinking of my phone.
Yes, ma'am, you
Yeah.
are. You're not a classic beauty. You're not an unattractive woman, but I don't think you could tell me that you have. Okay. Um, have men told you, have the high value men in your life, high school or whatever, did they tell you that you were like the pretty girl in school?
I was the shy, quiet girl in
That's not what I
school.
asked you, ma'am.
So I wasn't
The shy, quiet girl, if she was
noticed at the
fine,
time.
the shy, quiet girl, if she was fine, she still got attention.
Mm. In high school? No.
Well, and because you did not go to college. What region of the country do you live in? North, east,
Mm-hmm.
south, west?
Yes.
East? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the east, do you get approached by high value white men?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You do. Do you get approached by high no for serious relationship?
I don't want it, but yes.
Meaning marriage, those kind of things.
When you have to date to lead to marriage, I kind of, sabotage it before then.
Okay, well, and therein lies a lot of the uh, distortion in women. See, men who want to marry quickly. High value men will kick it with a woman who is a average looking woman, but they won't wife them. They know this. And this is what I'm trying to understand, ma'am, is you can have whatever standard you want, but if your life is not showing you that you're getting that. Okay, imagine, do you own a car?
Yes,
You do?
I do.
Okay. All right. Imagine there's a car on the lot and the dealer said it's the
Mm-hmm.
best car, whatever, and they want $100,000 for it. But cars like that car, that same model, that same make, everywhere else around the nation and in that neighborhood are selling for $50,000. Does it matter how much the dealer says how incredible this car is? Is the average person that has the money to buy that and in the market for that vehicle going to go buy the $100,000, or is he going to go buy the car that's priced like everything else is in the market?
Everything else?
Right. If you were a car, you are asking too much for the market. No one can tell you to lower your price, but no one's coming to buy you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Just to
um,
clarify, this is just based on my age, correct?
no, it's not just based on your age. It's also based on
Age and my look that you gave
what I can kind of
and
gather
my
from your
price.
SMV, and then your age, and then and then I just say what you're wanting. See, I think a lot of women need to understand to want to be a stay-at-home wife, you need to have got that early. I'm going to be honest. Most of the guys who are my clients who make that kind of money, here's what they say. I'm just going to be brutally frank. Why in the hell would I pick some woman over 30 who's been out here working and proving that she's going to has already got work on her, and then I'm going to set her down somewhere? No, I'm going to go get me one fresh off the tree who I can train up. I'm not going to go back and forth to do all this stuff. You've already been out here, ma'am.
Okay.
And most guys who have those kind of means, they'll date you, they'll say nice things to you, they'll have relations with you, but as far as getting serious with you, like wifing you, and directly approaching you, if a man is in the market for a wife, that means you're in the market, and so are all the other women. So the net of it is, if I were giving you advice off the rip, I would tell you, I'm going to say it, you need to lower your standard. Lower your, not just standard, you need to lower your list.
I've heard that before.
Well, but from who?
I've heard that before.
From who?
But my original question was about men with children.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's how we got here. But who'd you hear that from?
What do you mean?
Who'd you hear that you need to lower your list?
What?
You said you've heard you need to lower your standard. Who'd you hear it from?
Some men.
Friends? There's a delay, ma'am. That's
men.
from men. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a delay. I've been telling you since minute one. Okay, the men are telling you. Huh?
I'm trying to keep up.
Well, here's the thing. I've tried to say it in the nicest ways possible. But if men have told you need to lower your standards, I guess, I don't know if you think they're just trying to get you to do that to their benefit. I'm telling you, I don't know you. But I would say what I've heard and what I've seen, you're very much outside of what you're going to get on the open market. Now, you could win the lottery, but it's not very likely. What's likely is you're a high school grad who has some sort of job that you didn't want to disclose. You're 32. If you find someone, you're going to end up having to work a full-time job, just like he's working. If you have children, it'll be 1, 2, whatever y'all work out. You're going to have that 12 weeks off, that FMLA leave, and you're going to be right back out there with them. Just like everybody else in the world. And it's good enough for everybody else. And if that's not what you want, I hear you. But that's what's far more likely than running up on a guy who's making, especially on the East Coast, you got to take that number. Like if you're in Philadelphia, New York City area, you got to take that $300,000 number up and jump it up to around $700,000. Those men are one half of the 1%. And see here, and I would say this, I got to run. This is where so many black women end up dying alone. Overvaluing.
Oh my.
Yes, dying alone. You're 32. You got 3 more years before you become high risk pregnancy. Did you watch Rebecca Lynn Pope's video, the one she talked about why she's no longer a matchmaker?
I did watch her video, yes.
Okay, you're one of the women she talked about. And this is why so many black women like yourself end up dying alone, because you have this impossible standard.
I used to be. I'm not currently.
Ma'am, even what you're saying right now is ridiculous. Even what you're saying right now is unrealistic. If it was higher, then that just means you were in the stratosphere crazy. What you're saying right now is still unrealistic. So that tells me something. You've come down. You still need to keep on coming down to being average. The way you look, the way you earn, everything else. Just keep on coming down there. Because see, white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, Middle Eastern women, they don't walk around overvaluing themselves to the rate black women do. But then they don't also run around talking about all the single ladies, I'm INDP, whatever. I'm strong, independent. I don't need no man. See, they don't feed that into their culture. Their women are taught that you need a man. A man marrying will help you. 2 incomes is better than 1. And yes, it's better to have a blue collar man who's making good living to go along with your white collar lifestyle versus you being by yourself with this impossible list. Because, ma'am, you got 3 more years before you become 35. From 35 on, it falls off the cliff. If you make it to 40, it's pretty much a wrap, especially on the East Coast. So I hope this was beneficial. But as far as a man with kids, for the things you're talking about, you want, you'd be lucky to find a man with kids who would, a higher earning man with kids who would deal with you. That's just straight up.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
All right. But
That's going to be the ending of the episode. It's actually pretty sad. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, but it's honestly pretty sad that a lot of women are just willing to go out, exit, and leave this world without leaving the proper knowledge, without the right guidance, without a map, a place, a time. There is like nothing of substance for the next generation that are supposed to come into this world. She's 32 years old and wants to be stuck in her ways and be selfish because she's expecting a life in which she's going to be the one that's going to be sitting at home, not doing nothing. The man is going to be doing everything. She's just going to pop out a child or two, and that'll be the end of it. And it doesn't even sound like there's any enthusiasm to have a child or to teach and raise children. This woman is very selfish because she's honestly just doing it for her. She wants to be able to sit at home, do nothing, be able to travel and just live a life. And then there's gonna bring that to the dating market and tell other people is either you give me this or I'm not settling for anything. But men are waking up and they're not accepting unfair deals. If you come with a deal like this, a man is going to ask, especially a man that has a brain that's being used. He is going to ask. So being self-centered, being selfish, not thinking about others, not even putting time or a thought into the exact things you want and what that person is going to have to do to acquire that, we're lost. We are truly lost. But again, this message doesn't just apply to black people or black women. This message applies to everyone. Because it's not, at this point, it's not even a race issue anymore. This is a people thing. There are white women that think the same. There are Asian women that think the same. This is a people thing at this point. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. Please leave them in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Turn on post notifications so you will be alerted when we upload more videos just like this one. Share this video. Head over to Kevin Samuel's channel. Go share his videos. Go watch his videos. Let's keep the Godfather's name alive. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.